Welcome to the quiet space of our community, where sleepy stories live. Maybe it's been a long day, or perhaps you just love falling asleep with thoughts of distant space instead of counting sheep. Today, we'll gently embark on a journey through the most relaxing facts about the universe. Those calm, gentle truths of the cosmos that remind us how quiet, harmonious, and magnificent the boundless space around us can be. We'll touch upon the soft glow of distant galaxies, the slow rhythms of stars, and the cosmic peace that's always nearby. You don't need to do anything right now. Just get comfortable, let your breathing slow down, let your thoughts soften, and let your body become light, as if gravity has loosened its grip. We'll go slowly, gently, just one sleepy fact at a time, leaving everything unnecessary outside this night. And before we begin, if these quiet journeys help you relax and gently end your day, touch the like button and subscribe to the channel. This helps others find their way here too, as if one by one we're lighting night lanterns of peace. And now, get comfortable and let's begin. The universe breathes very slowly. Galaxies move away from each other so slowly that during your entire lifetime, they'll shift by a distance impossible to measure. This expansion happens smoothly, without haste, like a huge exhale that lasts billions of years. Imagine, all the space around you is stretching, but so gently that you don't feel it. It's like watching a tree grow. It changes but never rushes. The universe knows it has time. Starlight is a journey through peace. When a photon of light is born in a star, it begins a quiet journey through the void. It doesn't hurry, doesn't worry, just flies. For millions of years, through the absolute silence of space. No noise, no resistance, only calm movement in the darkness. The light you see now in the sky may have started its journey before the first humans appeared. It carries the peace of ancient times straight to your eyes. Between stars is the quietest place. The space between stars is a place of absolute silence. There's no air, no sound, nothing that could transmit even the slightest noise. Even if a star exploded there, you wouldn't hear a single sound. This is the most peaceful place in all of existence. When you look at the night sky, you're looking at an ocean of silence stretched between bright points. And in this silence, everything exists in harmony. We're made of stardust. Every atom in your body was once part of a star. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all of it was born in the hearts of ancient stars. When a star ends its life, it quietly scatters itself into space, giving its matter to new worlds. You're not a separate being in the universe. You're its continuation, its way of feeling itself. You've come home. Galaxies move like a slow dance. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, rotates so unhurriedly that in a million years it will turn only a tiny angle. We don't feel this movement because it's so smooth and vast. All the stars around us move together, like dancers in a slow waltz that lasts billions of years. There's no rush, no sharpness, only soft, endless rotational movement in the darkness. The darkness of the universe isn't emptiness, but peace. Most of space looks dark, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there. There's dark matter, dark energy, invisible fields that hold everything together. This darkness isn't scary, it's gentle, like a blanket that wraps around galaxies. It allows light to stand out, gives space for existence. Without this silence, there would be no stars. Darkness isn't the enemy of light, but its home. The universe has no edges. Wherever you find yourself in space, around you will be space stretching in all directions. There's no wall, no boundary, no place where something ends. This may seem unusual, but actually it's calming. Nowhere can you fall or fly out. Everything is held together by a soft weaving of gravity and space. The universe is like an endless ocean, where every point is the center. Time flows differently in different places. Near massive stars or black holes, time slows down. This isn't fantasy, it's reality confirmed by scientists. For someone who finds themselves there, seconds stretch out. A moment becomes longer. The universe doesn't rush. It allows time to be flexible, soft, whatever it needs to be. This reminds us that even time isn't a rigid frame, but something alive that breathes together with space. Planets rotate in silence. Earth moves around the sun at 30 kilometers per second, but you don't feel it. It doesn't creak, doesn't hum, doesn't create any sound. All the planets of the solar system circle in complete silence, following invisible lines of gravity that hold them in orbits. It's like an endless mobile over a baby's bed. Everything moves smoothly, rhythmically, soothingly. Stars live billions of years. Our sun has been shining for 5 billion years already, and will shine for that much longer. Most stars burn for so long that human history is just a moment in their life. They don't rush to fade. Don't worry about the end. They just shine day after day, year after year, calmly doing their work. And in this, there's deep wisdom. Do your thing, don't rush, trust time. The cosmic microwave background is the warmth of the beginning. Everywhere in space, at every point, flows soft warmth left over from the birth of the universe. This light is very ancient, very cold, but it's still here. It wraps around everything, like a memory of the first moments of existence. You don't see it with your eyes, but it exists. This is the most ancient light that still travels through space, reminding us that everything born leaves a trace. The Milky Way smells like rum and raspberries. In the center of our galaxy, astronomers found gas clouds containing ethers, substances that smell sweet, like rum or raspberries. This isn't a poetic metaphor, but real chemistry. The universe isn't only beautiful to look at, it has aroma, taste, texture. It's not a cold abstraction, but a living place where even gas can be sweet. Most of the universe is empty space. Even inside an atom, which makes up everything you see, most of the space is empty. If you enlarged an atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be the size of a pea in the center, and the electrons would be tiny dots somewhere far away. Everything around consists mostly of space. This emptiness isn't scary. It gives room to exist, to move, to breathe. Space is freedom. We live in a quiet neighborhood of the galaxy. The solar system is located far from the center of the Milky Way, in a calm part of the spiral. There are no dense clusters of stars here, no intense radiation, no chaos. This is a quiet suburb of a large galactic city where you can live peacefully for billions of years. Our location isn't coincidence, but a condition for the possibility of life. We're where it's safe, where it's quiet, where everything goes unhurriedly. Light travels but never ages. For a photon of light flying through space, time doesn't exist. From its point of view, the journey from a star to your eyes takes zero time. It's born and instantly arrives, although for you, millions of years pass. Light exists outside time, in an eternal moment. When you look at the stars, you touch eternity. That which doesn't age, doesn't change, is always young. Gravity isn't a force, but an embrace. Einstein showed that gravity isn't something that pulls you down, but a curvature of space itself. Earth doesn't attract you to itself. It creates a soft curve in the fabric of space, and you simply follow this form. It's like a ball rolling into a soft depression on a mattress. The universe doesn't push or pull. It embraces, holds, supports everything that exists. Stars aren't lonely. They live in pairs. Most stars in the galaxy aren't solitary. They orbit in pairs or even groups, bound by gravity, dancing around each other for billions of years. They're not left alone in the darkness. They have companions, partners with whom they share their light. Even in space, there's company, closeness, connection. Loneliness is rare in the universe. The universe is expanding, but not into something. When they say the universe is expanding, it doesn't mean it's growing into some external space. It itself is space. It creates place within itself, stretching, but not going beyond boundaries. This is hard to imagine, but it's calming. There's no outside where it needs to fit. Everything is already inside. The universe is everything that exists, and it will never become cramped. Neutrinos fly through you every second. Right now, billions of tiny particles born in the sun are flying through your body. They're called neutrinos, and they almost don't interact with matter. They pass through Earth, through you, through everything, without stopping, without leaving a trace. These are quiet travelers of the universe, invisible witnesses of everything that happens. You're not alone. You're part of a great flow that never stops. Pluto has a blue sky. Even at the edge of the solar system, where it's so cold and dark, there's beauty. Pluto, a small, distant world, has a thin atmosphere that scatters light so that the sky above it is blue. Just like on Earth, only much quieter, much farther. Even in the coldest places, there's something familiar, something that reminds of home. Beauty doesn't end. It's everywhere. Even where it would seem there's nothing. Black holes don't suck everything around them. If the sun suddenly turned into a black hole of the same mass, Earth would continue to orbit as before. Black holes don't suck everything around. They just have very strong gravity, like any massive body. At a safe distance, they're as calm as stars. They're not monsters, not a threat, just part of the natural cycle where old stars transform into something new. The moon is slowly moving away from Earth. Each year, the moon moves away from us by approximately 4 centimeters. This happens so slowly that during your entire life you won't notice the difference. But in billions of years, it will be farther, smaller in the sky, but still there. This is a natural process, a soft unweaving of a dance that's lasted since birth. There's no sharpness, no rupture, only gradual, gentle distancing that gives space. The universe didn't start as an explosion, but as an expansion. The Big Bang isn't an explosion in the usual sense. It was a moment when all space began to expand simultaneously, everywhere. There was no center. There was no place where it happened. Everything expanded at once, smoothly. like a flower opening. It wasn't chaos. It was the beginning of order, the birth of structure. The universe started softly, quietly, like the first breath. Star nurseries are places of quiet birth. In nebulae, huge clouds of gas and dust, new stars are born. This isn't a turbulent process. It's slow compression, gradual heating, a moment when something ignites. These places are like cosmic cradles where everything happens softly, gradually. Thousands of stars can be born from one cloud, each finding its place, its time. Birth in the universe isn't a catastrophe, but a miracle. The universe is flat and infinite. Scientists measured the shape of the universe and found it's almost perfectly flat. This means that parallel lines never intersect, that space stretches evenly in all directions, possibly infinitely. This flatness is calming. There are no edges, no confinement, no danger of falling. Everything is open, everything is accessible, everything stretches further, without end. The universe is old but young compared to eternity. Our universe is about 14 billion years old. This is incredibly long, but if it exists eternally, as some scientists believe, then it's just been born. Ahead is infinity, a boundless number of billions of years where stars will still be born, galaxies will dance, light will travel. We live at the very beginning of a great story that's just unfolding. Ahead is only time. The sun is an ordinary star. Our sun isn't special. It's average in size, average in brightness, one of billions of similar stars. But that's what's beautiful. What gives life, warmth, light, isn't an exception, isn't a miracle, but the norm. The universe is full of such stars. This means that conditions for life are possibly not rare either. Perhaps somewhere far away, someone else is looking at their sun and feeling the same warmth. Space smells like burnt metal. Astronauts returning from spacewalks report their suits smell like burnt metal, welding, hot gunpowder. This is the smell of cosmic dust settling on the surface. The universe has a smell. It's real, tangible, not abstract. It smells like antiquity, metal, distant stars that burned and turned into dust that now travels through the void. Venus rotates backward. Most planets rotate in one direction, but Venus is the opposite. It spins so slowly and in the opposite direction that a day there is longer than a year. This isn't a mistake, not a catastrophe, just a different rhythm, a different way to exist. The universe allows diversity, doesn't insist on one rule for everyone. Each world has the right to be special, even if it means going against the flow. Dark energy is the piece that expands space. Most of the energy in the universe is something invisible called dark energy. It doesn't emit light, doesn't create sound, but it slowly pushes galaxies apart from each other. This isn't an aggressive force. It's a soft, constant pressure that lets space grow. Without it, the universe might collapse back into a point. But dark energy keeps everything open, spacious, free. Supernovae give heavy elements. When a massive star ends its life, it doesn't just disappear. It scatters itself across space, ejecting all the heavy elements born in its core: gold, silver, uranium, everything heavier than iron. This act isn't destruction but giving. The star gives itself so that from it planets, people, life can be born. Death in space isn't the end, but passing the baton. The universe is symmetrical on large scales. If you look at the universe from a very large distance, it looks the same in all directions. Galaxies are distributed evenly. Structures repeat. Symmetry is preserved. This isn't chaos, not randomness. It's order born by itself. The universe is organized, balanced. It maintains equilibrium between density and emptiness. And this balance has held for billions of years, without effort, naturally. Planets sing. Planetary magnetic fields interact with the solar wind, creating radio waves that can be converted into sound. Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, they all sing in the radio range. These aren't melodies, but low hums, whistles, crackling. But they're real. Planets aren't mute. They speak in their own language, invisible to the eyes but real. The universe is full of voices we usually don't hear. In space, there's no up and down. On Earth, we're used to there being top and bottom. But in space, this doesn't exist. Astronauts in orbit can rotate any way. For them, there's no difference. All directions are equal. It's a strange feeling of freedom. No one says where's right, where's not. Every direction leads somewhere. Every orientation is possible. The universe doesn't impose rules about how it should be. It just is. We'll never see most of the universe. Most galaxies are so far away that their light will never reach us. They're moving away faster than light can travel. This means there's a huge part of the universe we'll never see. But this isn't sad. It's a reminder of scale, of the fact that there's something bigger than us, something mysterious and unreachable. Not everything needs to be known to feel connection with the whole. Saturn floats in water. If there existed an ocean big enough, Saturn would float in it. Its density is less than water. It consists mostly of light gas. This is a giant planet, but so light that it could stay on the surface. The universe is full of such strange, gentle paradoxes. Huge can be light, massive can be weightless. Not everything that looks heavy presses on you. Stars twinkle because the atmosphere breathes. Stars themselves don't twinkle, they shine evenly. But Earth's atmosphere constantly moves, changes density, distorts the light passing through it. That's why stars seem so alive, so flickering. This breathing of our planet creates the dance of light in the sky. Even motionless stars become alive thanks to the soft movement of air around us. Jupiter protects Earth. Jupiter's giant gravity attracts or deflects many comets and asteroids that could hit the inner part of the solar system. It acts like a quiet guardian, a soft shield that keeps us safe. We're not alone in our safety. There's a large planet that silently guards our corner of space. The universe has its ways of caring for small worlds. Light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach us. When you look at the sun through protective filters, you see it as it was 8 minutes ago. Light travels through emptiness, slowly by cosmic standards, but steadily. In these 8 minutes, you can make tea, look out the window, think about something pleasant. And during this time, light just flies, calmly, without haste, carrying warmth and life. The universe has no center. Every point in the universe can be considered the center. Galaxies move away from you in all directions equally, as if you're in the center. But anyone in any other point sees the same thing. We're all in the center of our own universe. This isn't egoism, it's geometry. Everyone is important. Everyone is in their place. Everyone has the right to feel themselves in the heart of everything. The cosmic web holds galaxies. Galaxies aren't scattered randomly. They form a huge web, threads, nodes, voids between them. This is the largest structure in the universe, stretching for billions of light years. It looks like a neural network, like blood vessels, like something alive. The universe isn't disorderly. It's organized into a large, calm system where everything has its place and its connection. Mars has blue sunsets. On Mars, where the atmosphere is thin and full of dust, sunsets are blue. Dust scatters light differently than on Earth, and this creates the opposite effect. Where we see orange, they would see blue. Even sunsets can be different. The universe doesn't repeat. It gives each world its own palette, its own way of saying goodbye to the day. White dwarfs are calm remains of stars. When a star like the sun ends its life, it doesn't explode. It just sheds its outer layers and leaves a small, dense, hot core called a white dwarf. This isn't the end. It's a calm old age. A white dwarf can shine for billions of years, slowly cooling, quietly fading. This is the longest part of a star's life. Quiet, calm, without drama. Old age in space can be beautiful. The universe creates space for the new. With every second, the space between galaxies increases a little. This doesn't mean something is taken away. On the contrary, new place is created. The universe doesn't compress, doesn't close. It opens, gives space for the future. There's always room to grow. There's always place for something new. Space isn't a finite resource. It's born again and again. Andromeda is approaching us. The Andromeda galaxy, our neighbor, is slowly moving toward the Milky Way. In a few billion years, they'll meet and merge into one large galaxy. This isn't a collision, not a catastrophe. It's a dance, a slow interweaving of two structures. Stars won't crash into each other. The distances between them are too large. They'll just become part of something bigger, more beautiful, new. Cosmic rays are ancient travelers. Through the atmosphere, constantly fly particles born in distant stellar explosions, sometimes beyond our galaxy. They travel for millions of years before arriving here. Some of them pierce you right now. These are ancient witnesses of distant events, invisible messengers carrying stories from the other end of the universe. You're part of a great exchange that never stops. Time near a black hole almost stops. If someone watched you as you approach a black hole, they'd see you moving slower and slower until you froze completely. For you, time would pass normally, but for an external observer, you'd be frozen in a moment. Time is flexible, soft. It can stretch and compress. The universe isn't rigid. It allows time to breathe. The sun loses millions of tons of mass every second. Every second, the sun converts millions of tons of its matter into light and heat. But it's so huge that it can do this for billions more years without feeling the loss. This is generosity without depletion, giving without impoverishment. The sun gives itself, but remains full. This is a model for life. Give without fearing that something will end. The silence of space isn't absence, but the presence of peace. In space, there's no sound, but that doesn't mean it's empty. There are fields, waves, particles, light, a lot of things, just nothing that creates sound. This silence isn't dead, it's alive, filled with invisible processes. This is peace that allows everything else to exist. Silence isn't the absence of life, but its foundation. The universe helps you breathe. The oxygen you breathe was created in stars that burned billions of years ago. Each of your breaths is a connection with space, with ancient processes that made life possible. You're not separate from the universe, you're its part. You breathe it, live through it. Each breath reminds your home. You've always been here, in the great body of space. The temperature of space is almost absolute zero. In empty space, far from stars, temperature drops almost to absolute zero, the coldest possible temperature. But this isn't terrible coldness, it's peace. Absence of movement, perfect silence of molecules. In this cold, there's no pain, no sensations. It's just a state where everything stopped, rests, waits. The cold of space isn't hostility, but neutrality. Saturn's rings will disappear in millions of years. Saturn's rings are gradually falling onto the planet, pulled by gravity. In tens of millions of years they may disappear, but this is a natural process, not a tragedy. Beauty isn't eternal, but that doesn't make it less valuable. On the contrary, temporariness adds tenderness to it. We live in a time when Saturn has rings, and this is a gift, a moment that won't last forever but exists now. Neptune has winds faster than sound. On Neptune, a distant blue planet, winds reach huge speeds, faster than sound in Earth's air. But there's no one there whom they would disturb. A storm can rage for centuries without affecting any living being. The universe is full of energy, movement, force, but most of it happens in places where there's no one who would suffer. Chaos exists, but it's far away. We're all moving through space together. Earth rotates, moves around the sun. The sun orbits around the center of the galaxy. The galaxy flies through the universe. You're now moving at incredible speed in several directions simultaneously. But you don't feel it because everything around moves with you. You're not a lonely traveler. You're part of a great caravan that floats through space together, in harmony. The universe smells like baked bread near the galaxy center. In the center of the Milky Way, besides the aroma of rum and raspberries, there are clouds containing chemical compounds that smell like freshly baked bread or hot pancakes. This is real chemistry, real molecules. The universe isn't just an abstraction of numbers. It has taste, smell, sensation. Even the most distant corners of space can smell like a cozy kitchen. The North Star isn't the brightest, but the most stable. The North Star doesn't stand out in brightness, but it's always in one place because it's located almost exactly above Earth's North Pole. It's not the most beautiful, not the biggest, but the most reliable. Travelers trusted it for thousands of years. Sometimes the most important thing isn't to shine, but to be stable, predictable, someone you can rely on. The universe values reliability as much as beauty. Meteors are farewell kisses from space. When you see a shooting star, it's a small fragment of rock or ice burning up in the atmosphere. It came from far away, perhaps wandered for millions of years, and now ends its path with a flash of light above your head. This is a farewell gesture, a last greeting from a distant corner of the solar system. Each shooting star is a small reminder. Even the end can be beautiful. Dark matter holds everything together but doesn't interfere. Most of the mass of galaxies is dark matter, invisible substance that doesn't emit light. It holds stars together, doesn't let them fly apart. But it doesn't interact with you, doesn't interfere, doesn't press. It just is, quietly doing its job. This is a reminder, the most important things are often invisible. What holds everything together doesn't necessarily have to be noticeable. Constellations are an illusion of closeness. Stars and constellations seem close to each other, but in reality they can be hundreds of light years apart. They're not connected, they just happen to lie on one line of sight from Earth. But this doesn't make them less beautiful. Sometimes connection is what we see, even if it doesn't exist in reality. Sometimes what's more important is how the picture looks than what stands behind it. The universe never repeats itself. Each star is unique, each planet is unrepeatable, each galaxy has its own shape. Even in the infinity of space, there are no two identical objects. The universe loves diversity, it doesn't stamp copies. This means you're also unique, unrepeatable, the only one. In all this space, among billions of stars and worlds, there's no one like you. And that's beautiful. Light from the first stars is still traveling. The first stars that ignited after the Big Bang have long since faded, but their light is still traveling through space. Perhaps somewhere far away, it will reach a planet where someone will look up and see a star that's been gone for billions of years. Light outlives its creators. Even what disappeared leaves a trace that lasts infinitely long. Comets are time capsules. Comets consist of ice and dust left over from the birth of the solar system. They preserved matter that hasn't changed for billions of years. When a comet flies past the sun, we see a piece of the distant past, matter that remembers the beginning. Each comet is a message from antiquity, a capsule carrying the story of what things were like at the very beginning. Uranus lies on its side. Most planets rotate almost vertically, but Uranus lies on its side. Its axis of rotation is almost horizontal. Scientists think it once experienced a huge collision that flipped it. But it continues to exist, rotates, has moons, rings. Even after catastrophe, you can continue, find new balance, live differently. The universe doesn't require everyone to be the same. Dwarf galaxies are quiet neighbors. Around the Milky Way orbit dozens of small satellite galaxies. They're small, quiet, contain millions of stars, not billions. They don't claim attention, don't compete, just exist nearby, completing the picture. In the universe, there's room for large and small, for bright and quiet. You don't have to be the biggest to matter. The universe doesn't rush to create life. Life on Earth appeared billions of years after the planet's birth. The universe didn't hurry. It allowed processes to go their own way, slowly, gradually, without pressure. And when the time came, life arose naturally, as a consequence of patient waiting. The universe teaches, you don't need to rush. Everything comes when it's ready. Patience is part of creation. Your body is a cosmic laboratory. In your body occur chemical reactions similar to those happening in stars and nebulae. You consist of the same elements, work by the same laws. There's no difference between you and space. You're part of the same process that creates galaxies. You're not separate. You're a continuation of the universe, its way of knowing itself. Lunar seas aren't seas but silence. The dark spots on the moon that ancient people called seas are actually solidified lava flows. There's no water there, no movement, no waves. These are the oldest planes that haven't changed for billions of years. They preserve peace, frozenness, perfect immobility. The moon reminds us, sometimes, beauty is just silence that lasted long enough to become visible. The universe doesn't demand explanations. We try to understand space, solve its laws, explain every phenomenon. But the universe existed long before questions appeared and will exist after they disappear. It doesn't need our understanding to be real. This is calming. You don't need to know everything. You can just be, exist alongside mystery without demanding answers. Sometimes it's enough just to look. Space gives perspective. When you think about the scale of the universe, about billions of galaxies, about the infinity of space, your problems don't disappear but become smaller. Not in the sense that they're not important, but in that you see there's something bigger that holds everything together. Your anxieties are real, but they don't fill all the space of existence. The universe reminds, there's room for everything, for your worries and for the peace that lies beyond them. You're looking at the past when you look up. Each star you see shows you itself as it was years, decades, centuries, or millennia ago. Light traveled all this time to reach your eyes. When you look at the sky, you look into history, see the past that still lives in light. This is time travel without a time machine. Just look up and you'll see what no longer exists but still exists in rays flying toward you. We traveled very far today, from the slow breathing of the universe to the travels of photons flying for millions of years, from the silence between stars to the thought that every atom in you was born in the heart of an ancient star. We saw how galaxies move in a soft dance, how darkness becomes home for light, how time flexibly bends near massive worlds, and how even the cold of space is just peace, not emptiness. We learned that you're made from the same dust from which nebulae are created, that you live in a quiet corner of the galaxy where everything moves smoothly and predictably. That light touching your eyes may be older than humanity and brings with it the silence of past epochs. And now, when your eyes grow heavy, when breathing evens out, allow yourself to imagine you're lying in darkness under a boundless sky. Around you is night peace, in which there's no hurry, no noise. Above you are stars that shine evenly and patiently, as if they've been waiting for this exact moment to give you light that traveled billions of kilometers. The universe quietly wraps around you, doesn't frighten, supports, doesn't press, embraces. Its laws are soft, its darkness is gentle, its silence is filled with life that doesn't need sound. Breathe in, you feel peace stretching for billions of light years. Breathe out, everything unnecessary recedes, dissolves, melts. You're a particle of the universe. Not separate, not lost, native. You're created from the same matter that shines above you every night. And when you fall asleep, know the cosmos slowly carries you forward, supports you with every atom it has, every wave passing through space. Sleep deeply, sleep quietly. under the eternal, unchanging peace of the universe, under its breathing, under its gentle silence. Good night.